What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about Rivian. I want to go over some of the current data points, go over the latest and updates, and what big money is doing with Rivian. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Rivian is down slightly, 0.28%, 1427 the low, 1474 the high, 6.5 million shares being traded, 35 is the average. So it did have a nice spike up with the broader market. Unfortunately, that was rather short-lived, and a lot of stocks did get dragged down, and you're not really seeing institutions kind of buy the Rivian dip today. So based on the secondary market, you are seeing these transactions above $100,000. Regrettably, all of them are sells, and this is why I really like to look at where the volume does come from, because algorithmic trading can be rather hollow. So in some cases, stocks might be green, but institutions behind the scenes are selling. And in Rivian's case, that seems to be somewhat what is happening. So this is, I think, just institutions and analysts as well. So latest analyst ratings haven't been that optimistic on Rivian. So I think at the end of the day, just people are now waiting for the next big catalyst. Interesting article did come out though. So you did have right here. So Rivian's chief software officer revealed just how entrenched Rivian's technology is in that new joint venture that they announced, what was it, 6-7 months ago with VW. So I think in reality, Rivian is doing a lot of good things. Just the whole EV sector is struggling, and most likely will continue to struggle, at least in the foreseeable future. And most likely this is why analysts and just institutions aren't really paying attention to it. So as far as analyst ratings, you did have one 5 days ago, $13 hold, Morgan Stanley, Adam Jonas. So he's definitely gone very neutral slash bearish, I guess, given where Rivian is at. And because in the past he's been very optimistic on Rivian, but again, 13, and given we're at 14, definitely does signal that there's more downside. As a consensus, 1474 is that price target, representing 2.36% upside from these levels. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. Aside from all that though, there hasn't really been all that much in news from Rivian. Last PR did come out on June the 6th, just showing that they're going to be participating in the Deutsch Auto Conference. This is going to be on June the 12th. Claire's going to be doing that. In my opinion, I don't really see any new information that wasn't stated just in the UBS auto conference that was done, I think it was last week, by RJ. So at the end of the day, it's good that Rivian is participating in these. I still would rather have a very good substantial catalyst to really justify institutions and to prompt buying with Rivian, but still, getting their name out there and just telling their story, I think, is kind of a good thing. Aside from that though, on a macro standpoint, no real data points coming out today that's moving the market, rather optimism associated to China and the States. So today is day number 2 for negotiations, so hopefully that does work out fairly well. But aside from that, shorts are currently increasing 206,000 shares. 17.95% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 156 million shares overall are being shorted. As you can see from this pink line right here though, shorts have really been all over the place. There seems to be no real rhyme or reason on what they are actually doing. So it's kind of weird. But I believe they're trying to really kill the momentum at strategic points with Rivian. So it's they're playing, whoever's shorting Rivian definitely does have deep pockets and is trying to be very strategic again. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. So again, increasing 206,000 shares today. Looking at the options, 2.25 million in calls, 1.6 in puts, 48% of all the options being done are bearish in nature, and most of that actually just came from right here, right before it did spike lower. So clearly some entity or entities did know that something was going to cause a pullback. So between 920 and 925, you did have 1.4 million in overall premiums, and clearly that's not retail unless that is someone who has very deep pockets. But aside from that, looking at the bulls, you see consensus for it to be roughly around that 1450 to 15 for the end of this week, and then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 14. So where it's at, there's a little bit more upside, which is kind of a good thing, but options could be also shorts hedging just in case Rivian does go up. So something to kind of keep in mind. But with it at 14.35, it is trading right now between this pivot and this S1. So 12.96 is going to be the next strong support, and then 14.73 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And that's kind of what the high for today. So we do know going forward, that's going to be another heavy resistance point. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Another element to kind of watch for though is this $14.10. That is going to be a key pivot for Rivian. Based on the Elliott Wave technicals, if it does break below that, then it is anticipated to get between that 1171 and 1242. So again, watch for that key pivot of 1410 in the short term. Aside from all of that fun stuff on the actual chart itself, it is currently above or right below that ALMA. It is above that 50-day moving average, and that is currently sitting at 1350. The 100-day moving average at 1288, and then the 200 at 1253. Stochastic RSI is very oversold because Rivian has pulled back quite significantly over the last little bit. So again, if there's some good PR that does come out, or even on a macro standpoint, that could really stand to benefit it going forward. So a couple big data points for the rest of the week that could help is CPI. So that's coming out tomorrow. So anticipate some volatility during power hour today, as some institutions might be worried about that. So CPI is coming out Wednesday, PPI on Thursday, and then Michigan consumer sentiment on Friday. So at the end of the day, I think Rivian is going to do a lot of good things, but it's just a very difficult sector to be in. And RJ's even mentioned that under a Trump administration, I don't think he actually said Trump, but under this circumstance and environment, I think that's how he worded it, it's going to be difficult for EVs to really thrive. And institutions clearly see that. So let me know your viewpoint on Rivian. Are you buying? Are you selling? What do you feel the next big catalyst for Rivian truly is going to be? So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.